Next on the news, September is National Addiction Recovery Month. Millions of people grapple with substance abuse every year, including the men who serve the Catholic Church.
When priests are struggling with addiction, they come here to Transition House at Transfiguration St. Stanislaus Kostka Church in Maspeth. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have that story coming up.
They traveled from across Brooklyn and Queens to meet in faith and fraternity. This fall's annual convocation highlighting how to make happy, holy, and healthy priests in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Plus, how you can turn religion into a reality. A new web series produced by DeSales Media is diving into that question. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. September marks National Addiction Recovery Month. According to the 2023 United States National Survey on Drug Use and Health, more than 48 million Americans battled substance abuse in the last year. And that disease of addiction can happen to anyone, including priests. But as Currents News' Katie Vasquez reports, there is a program in the Diocese of Brooklyn to help these men of God get help.
There are good memories from Monsignor Joe Calice's life.
And John Paul II came too.
But there were also dark days as he battled alcohol addiction for more than 10 years.
You know, when I look back on those days, I remember a lot of pain and I remember a lot of sadness.
His story is not unusual. According to the St. John Vianney Center, 10% of clergy suffer from addiction, but only about 2% seek treatment.
Which has the actual date of my sobriety.
The Queen's pastor is now 34 years sober, and about 7 years ago, he decided to help other priests struggling to stay sober.
So many of us live such solitary lives that what happens once we go upstairs and close the doors to our rooms, few people know. Each of these doors opens into 2 different bedrooms.
He created Transition House, which is run out of the St. Stanislaus Kostka Rectory as a built-in halfway house for clergy in the Diocese of Brooklyn. 18 people have come through since it started, a third with addiction issues, while others are there for various reasons.
What it's really become is a haven for priests who need a place to stay while whatever the complication is, whether it's a visa, a problem with some type of an addiction, or even just a need to get out of the rectory that they were living in. They can come up here, they can say a private mass.
There's no medical staff or therapeutic personnel, but the men who stay have to put in the work.
The only thing we really would challenge would be if someone doesn't seem to be doing anything for their recovery.
As difficult as it is to talk about this low point in his life, Monsignor Calice thinks if it helps even one person, it's worth it.
You know, bring a message of hope to so many other people. But it's because of what I went through that that message is credible.
In Maspeth, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, there are other resources within the Diocese of Brooklyn that can help. Just go to dioceseofbrooklyn.org/addiction-recovery-month for more information. The topic of addiction was just discussed at a meeting of priestly fraternity.
Creator, sovereign Prince of time.
More than 150 priests traveled to the Immaculate Conception Center in Douglaston, Queens on Tuesday for their biannual convocation or meeting of clergy. The spiritual fathers from across Brooklyn and Queens gather every spring and fall to discuss their ministries. The meetings also normally center around a topic, which on Tuesday was about becoming happy, holy, and healthy priests. This included a talk on addiction from Guest House, a Midwestern treatment center for priests. Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan says it was valuable information for the men of faith.
Human issues are priest issues. Priest issues are human issues, and these are all things that we deal with amongst ourselves, within our families, within the families in our parishes, in our community. These are very, very important issues that face us all.
Priests are human. We're from the human race. We're not hatched. So we ourselves are beset by the same weakness.
The Diocese of Brooklyn's next convocation will happen in May. Parish life is always busy.
there you go.
But is it always effective? Do you ever wonder how you can be a better disciple and not just leave religion at the door? Do you ever wonder how you can turn religion to reality? That's the name of a new webinar series created by DeSales Media. The aim, to take our faith to the next level in the most effective way possible. Here to tell us more about that is Dave Plisky, Director of Product and Innovation at DeSales. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Christine.
Thanks for being here. So before we jump into all the details about this web series, let's take it back to where it all started. DeSales partnered with Vinia Research for a study that took a deep dive into discipleship. And here is what you found. You found 1 in 5 devout Catholics are not comfortable talking about their faith. And while 76% are interested in developing their evangelization skills, 39% don't know where to start. So knowing that, how did you come up with the idea of using a web series to help people better serve others?
Well, Christine, we realized it's not about the data, it's about people. And so we figured by having a webinar series, we can invite people in and engage them in the conversation itself. It also allowed us to have a co-host, so I'm going to be joined by Father John Gribowich, and invite guest experts to each topic that we go into.
Oh, that's great. So tell us, who is Father John Gribowich and why did you choose him?
Father John is an instructor of theology, and he brings that pastoral lens that many priests often do. But he sees things differently than I do, so I think it leads to a little bit of healthy conflict between us. As we like to say, always friendly, never agreeable. And I think that will add a little spice to the mix, a little dynamic to the conversation to stimulate the audience participation that much more.
Absolutely, it'll make it very interesting. Now, I've been in meetings in my own parishes where it feels like we're just running in place. People have these ideas, but no one seems to have the facts to make something happen. So if I were to participate in this webinar, how would it help me?
So what we found is that even people who attend Mass, regularly every week, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are, going on retreat regularly, or practicing the spiritual and corporal works of mercy, or that they have a spiritual director. In fact, it's likely that they don't, we've found. And so what this allows us to do, what we really want to do with that is to break down silos in the spiritual life. And even to get rid of that term, the spiritual life, what we really want people to lead is fully integrated lives. And we also want them to recognize where they are in their spiritual journey, where others might be, what their unmet needs are, and what their next steps might be.
All right, you said fully integrated lives. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so you're not a Catholic just on Sunday and then a pagan the rest of the week. Or you're not a parent, just when your kids are going to school and then, weekends you have the time off from being, no, we're always who we are all the time. And so it's also not just about practicing our faith. It's about becoming aware that everything is sacramental. Everything is Sunday material.
All right. So what's exciting about this series is that it's free. The videos premiere every 2 weeks starting on September 30th. So let's go over the schedule so everyone can get a little peek at it. The first episode is about Catholic discipleship in the U.S. The second is about spiritual direction. The episode after that is on technology and faith. Then you'll talk about nurturing growth in faith. The next episode will be on community, and the final episode will be on generational differences in discipleship. So how did you design these, and when someone completes the webinar, what's your hope?
We designed them around the areas that we were able to find the most insights in the data, and the places that we thought disciples may benefit the most. And we had 3 hopes. One, I hope that people come away informed with sound metrics, that they realize that we can do data-driven ministry, that we don't have to rely on hunches that sometimes can waste precious resources. 2, that people feel inspired, that they are able to meaningfully touch people's lives in the work that they do. And 3, that they find community, that they realize that others are in this just as serious about doing the Lord's work and doing it well as they are.
All right, well, it sounds great. Dave Plisky, Director of Product and Innovation at DeSales, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Christine.
All right, to see this web series, just go to religiontoreality.org. There is a link down on the bottom to register. Space is limited, so you'll want to do that now. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.